Welcome back, Benchwarmers. The NBA Finals are upon us.
It is time once again to hand out a Larry O'Brien trophy, but this year, one franchise will win it for the first time.
Well, kinda. We have two teams that were slowly built over time and now have a chance to be the last one standing.
Even though the league probably doesn't like the small market matchup, should be a great series. I'm Corey, go Pacers.
I'm Brendan, what he said, and this is our view from the bench. Before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see here, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it for us, come on. It's free. It's free for you, it's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Well, it's NBA Finals time. The Lakers are going for it. No, I'm just kidding. I wish. I wish. We suck.
Like,
out in 5. Out in 5 in round 1. Just kidding. But yeah, we are here. We just wrapped up an NHL Stanley Cup episode. If you like hockey, go check that one out. I'm a little bit more in my element here, though. So excited to talk about basketball. Not that I don't like hockey. I enjoy it. I just don't know enough about it. That's all.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why we had our hockey analyst, Aaron, come on the episode and give us a little more information and detail that you and I wouldn't have paid attention to or found.
Exactly. So make sure you go check that episode out. But here we are. Let's break down the NBA Finals. I know everybody at the beginning of the season saw this one coming. Thunder, Pacers. This was a no-doubter, you know. Definitely not, man.
No, definitely
Thunder, maybe. I mean, they were the number 1 seed last year, and they lost to Dallas, which were the eventual Western Conference champions. But I did not see the Pacers really coming out of the East, especially just the way that New York and Boston really looked. I didn't see Cleveland either, but the way New York and Boston looked this year, they looked great. So I didn't see Indiana, but here we are.
I'm with you on that, but I kind of thought for some reason this might be the year Cleveland got over the hump after last year, but man, was I wrong. Indiana took care of them in 5. That was way too easy.
Yeah, I mean, injuries were a little bit of a part of it, but honestly, I think they were going to win that series regardless. Just the pace of play, but it was just too much, just a little too much. So here we are, and we have two what I would consider kind of similar teams. We were talking about this before the actual finals were set. Oklahoma City had basically kind of won. We were kind of just waiting to see when the Pacers were going to wrap it up because they were kind of handling the Knicks. And it just seems like there's a lot of similarities. So I'm going to start with a couple, and you kind of continue where I'm at. The obvious one is just an extremely dominant, ball-centric point guard in Tyrese Halliburton and Shai Gilgeous. Obviously, Shai just won the MVP. He's dropping over 30 points a game, something Tyrese isn't doing. But Tyrese is arguably one of the cleanest players in the NBA with the lack of turnovers he has and the high assist ratio. That's kind of the first one. What about their number 2 guys going down the list?
Yeah, well, it's just both teams are not just, like you said, there's a ball-centric guy who runs the offense and gets everything going, but that's not just the only person that scores. You've got Oklahoma City.
Not like Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, exactly. With the Thunder, you've got Jalen Williams or J-Dub, I think as they call him. I can't remember which one is J-Dub and Williams.
J-Dub.
Okay.
Because Jalen.
Okay, there you go. And then you have Chet Holmgren, who was a number 2 pick, I think, a couple years ago. He's really blossomed, even though he hasn't put on a lot of weight like most people probably would hope at this point.
Yeah.
He plays really well. They fit the scheme. Hartenstein in the block playing defense is great. They have Caruso, who's the Swiss Army knife. They've got Lou Dort, who can play 3 and D. Like, Oklahoma City.
Let me counter some of those. Right?
Oklahoma City is great. And then you look at Indiana. You've got Nembhard, or I think
Pascal Siakam, right? Let's start at the top, right? Second best player being Pascal Siakam. Kind of going with J-Dub, right?
And then let's see.
Miles Turner?
Actually, I kind of like Nembhard a little more the point guard. I like him a lot.
His defense is nasty.
Yeah, then I go Turner, then Naismith, because he can play defense 3 and D like Lou Dort and hit some threes. Just
Obi Toppin, just an athletic dude out of nowhere, just
run up and down. He's not a great defensive guy, but within their scheme, he's really good as a team defender.
McConnell?
TJ McConnell, bear down Wildcats. I'm rooting for McConnell especially. I love that guy. He's
little white guy who's good on offense. Caruso's the white guy who's good on defense. You know?
There you go. They're very similar built, like you mentioned in the opening, built over time. You know, add a piece here, Caruso, Hartenstein in Oklahoma City. Indiana, you draft a lot of those guys. They didn't really bring in a lot of extra pieces. I mean,
just Halliburton.
Benedict Mathurin, they drafted Nembhard. They drafted Nathan. No, Nathan they had because he was initially in Boston. But still, it's been a slow build.
They've had Miles Turner for 10 years.
Dude,
know what I mean?
He played with Paul George in Indiana. That was crazy. I didn't know anybody else was still there that played with Paul George.
He is. Still riding hard, too. So good for him.
But Indiana overall, Carlisle at the coaching has the one benefit over the Thunder because he's won a title as a coach. He was on the Celtics in the 80s. He didn't play a lot when they won. in '85, but he was on the team, so he's about franchise. He was also, I don't know if you knew this, he was the defensive excuse me, coordinator for the Pacers when they lost to the Lakers in 2000. So
Well, he did a terrible job.
well, against Shaq, it was kind of hard to stop anybody, but I'm with you there. But overall, the Pacers to get to a finals for the
Yeah.
first time in 2000 was big. So Carlisle's been there for a lot of these moments in this organization's history. Again, I love Carlisle as a coach. I think Indiana has a slight edge in that, but overall, going up and down the roster, I mean, they have one here, bonus they have, and it's kind of hit and miss down the line. I don't really know if I had to pick one lineup better than the other. I don't know if I really could.
And Mark Dagnall, the coach for Oklahoma City, is a great head coach. The only thing that he kind of lacks is the experience, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's up for coach of the year. He's had this team at the number 1 seed in the West, the vaunted West, for 2 straight years. So he's no slouch either. Like I said, the only thing is just a little bit of the lack of experience, especially in deep playoff runs. It doesn't get much deeper than winning the championship, as Carlisle has already done with a team that wasn't supposed to. They had that's arguably one of the best finals runs ever. No.
Well, if you
think teams that they had to beat.
Well, if you look at it, actually, the way I was thinking about it was before the playoffs started, Indiana last year made their miraculous run to the conference finals that nobody saw coming with essentially the same team. And I think we talk about in the NBA, or they say over my lifetime, our lifetime, that in order to win in the NBA, you have to lose first. And last year, Indiana getting to the conference finals and losing, and now getting this far is kind of them taking that step. And Thunder last year, they made the playoffs as the 1 seed, but then they lost in the second round. But now here they are in the finals. They again took that next step, and both teams are both just. It's just going to be a head-on collision with 2 very well-built teams who have taken the time and taken the correct steps to get here. So I'm just excited for a great series. I hope it goes at least 6 or 7. That's all I hope.
I don't know, but we'll see. I'm hoping for it too, because that's what I'm looking for. And honestly, more than just good series, good games, man. Good games.
Good
I
games
like that these teams are so close. I know the Pacers can come back down 10 with 40 seconds if they have to. I just asked the Knicks. So I mean, honestly, ask anybody they've played this playoff run, because they are coming back like crazy. So I'm hoping that the games stay close, as well as the series, but I guess we'll see. So let's kind of break down a little bit where they're at. Pacers obviously looking to win their first title ever. This is only their second finals appearance. They are one of the 4 original ABA teams to merge into the NBA in 1976, along with the Nuggets, Spurs, and Nets. So that's kind of a cool thing. Nuggets championship, Spurs championship, Nets no. But they could be the last ABA team, or one of the, to try to round it up. And I don't know how the Nets are really that close either, though. So I don't know about that one. But
no, they're probably a few years away. But it's okay if you can get 3 out of the 4 original ABA teams in there. I mean, it proved in the long run that those teams were worth saving and merging into the league and not completely collapsing the entire ABA altogether. So take that for what it's worth, I guess.
Well, I mean, like Carlisle said after they made it to the finals, that Indiana, or basketball is important. Basketball is awesome, but this is Indiana. You know what I mean?
It's like hockey in Minnesota. It's like the state of basketball and the state of hockey. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, so that's who I'm rooting for, obviously. But they're going up against, I mean, arguably one of the best built teams of all time. I'm not going to say they're an all-time great team. They have a lot of really good players.
68 wins, right? That's up there. And you mentioned the Western Conference is no slob. Like, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, which were the Lakers, had 50 wins, and the 6 seed Timberwolves had 49 wins. So there's a lot of really close battles. But Oklahoma City, 68 wins in the league, and not only that, they went 29-1 against the East, only losing to Cleveland at Cleveland. So I don't know if they're afraid of anybody at all either. This team is locked and loaded, I feel like. And, we mentioned in the opening that both teams are playing for their first title in franchise history. Well, you said kind of. Well, this is where the Thunder come in, because
you're right.
The Thunder were originally the Sonics. The Sonics have been to 3 finals back in 78, 79, and 96, having won the title in 1979. So they technically have a title in their franchise history, but this will be the first one in the state of Oklahoma if they are to clinch it. So.
Yeah, second appearance for him, though. I mean, obviously, KD and the crew took him, lost to
the Heat.
The Heat. Yeah, that's right. Not a bad team to lose to.
Pretty good team. They won.
So to me, that is the style of like an all-time great team. The Duncan Spurs, the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, even the Kobe and Powell Lakers a little bit. The Bulls in the Jordan era, the Warriors with KD, like that's kind of it. So I mean, if this team can last, is it me or is it's just so boring, bro? I don't like watching the Thunder. It's not. I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's just no pizzazz. I just don't feel like
there's not a whole lot of attitude, I guess, from the team or anybody who like stands out with the personality. They're very business-like. I think their crowd actually is probably the most animated thing about them is all the fans wear the shirts and they're in the patterns and they stand up until they score their first bucket. And no, they're the only pro team in the state of Oklahoma. So it's a smaller town. It's, if not the smallest market in the entire NBA, I would guess. Probably. So it's like a college town. You get everyone into it. They're all cheering on the same side. There's probably barely going to be any fans of the Pacers in the building, I would think. But also in a weird way, you get two small markets, but you're getting like the heart of America country. In a sense. True. You're getting Oklahoma City, which is one of those flyover states of Oklahoma, and Indiana. I mean, again, Indiana is the state of basketball, Indiana Hoosiers and everything there. Their stadium, which I've mentioned before, is supposed to be built like an old farmhouse and just very old school style.
Caitlin freaking Clark.
Yeah, well.
That's basketball in these days.
Yeah, but, it's just, for us, at least as Laker fans, you got Caruso, who's a former Laker, Thomas Bryant, who's a former Laker. So, and there's some guys in there you're rooting for, and there's not anybody on either team that I'm like, that fucking guy. I'm like, I hate. It's just two.
I don't hate anybody. Well, but you led me right to one of my points.
Oh, I did. Okay, well, good on me.
I don't like watching Shea play.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's not. I'm not going to be the first to call. I wouldn't be the first. Obviously, it's been going around the internet. I'm not going to sit here and call him a free throw merchant. It's part of the game. But there's a reason why a lot of people didn't like watching James Harden play too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when he was in his prime, in it was 3 or foul line.
Yeah,
it's not 3 for Shea. It's mid range or foul line. In fact, throw it up on the screen for me. You'll see this on the YouTube chat. This is basically the numbers this playoffs for the teams that are left still, and the number of free throws attempted and made. We're going with made here, obviously attempts or whatever, but we're going with actual free throws made. If you look at this, if you look at the chart, Shea Gilgeous has made 126 total free throws in this playoffs up to this finals point. The second person on this list is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in the first half of basketball games. The third person on this list is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in the second half of basketball games. Yes, you heard that right. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander not only has the most total, but if you split it by halves, he has second and third, or what would be the most total. It's just not fun to watch. I'm not saying he's never getting fouled, but I am saying he's not getting fouled that much. Whether it's acting or flopping or the refs just saying, well, he's the MVP, so we have to call it. I don't know what the reason is. It's just not fun to watch. Similar to the tush push, as a lot of people say, it's not a fun play to watch. It's really not fun to watch basketball where people are just standing there and somebody's shooting a free throw and shooting a free throw.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a meme that going around before you go real quick. There's a meme that goes around. Let's talk about what basketball hoops in Oklahoma City used to see. And it's Russell Westbrook coming down the court to slam the shit out of a basketball. And then it says now what they see. And it's just Shea sitting at the free throw line shooting free throws. It's not fun to watch.
No, it's not. And, from a fan, and you're right. He does get fouled.
Something he never gets fouled.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, it is part of the game, fouling or getting fouled or baiting people into fouls. I get that. But there are replays, especially in that Minnesota series, a couple games.
Especially that.
Nobody touched him within a foot and a half. I mean, there's one play. Actually, I think Naismith's going to probably do this as well in this series because he did against Brunson, where he literally put his hands behind his back when he's playing defense because he doesn't even want the ref to think he's reaching in to get a foul. So we might see that against Shea because of the same concept. And Harden, if you think about it, there was some point guys would stand behind him and let him go to the inside of the paint and put their hands behind because they just didn't want to reach in and get any kind of foul. And I think Shea has gotten to that point too, where it's like, okay, I know you can do it, but can you just play basketball? And like, you have other guys that can shoot. You have a great team around you. I don't utilize them, utilize everybody and keep playing. Now they got 68 wins. So whatever he's doing is working.
It's not working.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's just from an aesthetic standpoint or a fan view of like the game up and down, like we expect it to be. It's stop and start, stop and start. One of the things that might solve it, and again, it depends on how he gets fouled, if he's in the act of shooting or not, but maybe we move the foul bonus free throw instead of 5 every quarter, move it back to 10. It might eliminate some of those free throw attempts because some of them are reach-ins and on the floor, but we have to get to 10 fouls before you start shooting free throws the rest of the quarter. Hopefully that puts us 6 to 8 minutes into the quarter before it really becomes an issue, and then we don't have to watch as many free throws. But I just sell t-shirts in the Honda Center. They don't have so.
Honestly, it is kind of crazy though, now that I think about it, because 90% of the time and all the other games I watched, it's almost like the refs didn't have their whistle on the court. Except when Shea has the ball, then they have it ready. One of those plays that you're talking about, I believe it's Jalen McMillan, or McDaniels, not McMillan. Jaden McDaniels on the Thunder, or I'm not Thunder, on the Wolves. He's literally not behind his back per se, but he's guarding him, like sliding his feet. He trips over his own feet, throws up a shot, foul, 2 free throws.
Exactly.
And Jaden Turner, no, I literally didn't even touch him. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a foul. So again, I get the fouls are apart, but when you look at what we just showed you on the screen, it's starting to be like excessive. That's like if the Eagles just only ran the tush push because they know they're getting 3 yards every time, and after 4, that's 12.
Yep.
So
first down.
First down. I get it. If it's effective, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's fun to watch. So
that would be boring.
Entertainment sport.
Can you imagine watching a game? 3
All
yards,
that talent, and they just
3 yards. Take a whole damn quarter probably to get down the field. Shit, the way the clock
no time of possession for the other team, right?
Exactly. That's the game of the
defense
game.
Is worn out by the second. Let me tell you. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just something that's not as fun to watch. So that's my only complaint. Again, I'm not saying he doesn't get fouled. I'm just saying he doesn't get fouled that much. And please, just swallow the whistle a little bit, man. Come on.
Yeah, just let them play the game a little bit. This is the finals. Like, let the players in the game decide. Don't let the refs decide, and you become the storyline. I think I saw too. There's 2 refs that are part of the rotation in the reffing of the finals. That this is their first finals appearance as a ref. So get some new blood in there. They were alternates last year, so it's not like they're completely. Oh my god, I've never been
oblivious.
To the finals. But I think having some new blood in there is a good thing too, because it gets away from maybe the old way of doing things of always like, we call plays this way in the final. Like, get some younger guys in there or girls in there, whoever's reffing. Just let them play the game. We've been seeing a lot of physicality in the playoffs, except for Thunder games. But hopefully in the finals,
they let them play a little bit. Yeah. One thing that I don't, to your point about getting like new blood in, is I don't think they hold it. But like Scott Foster and Chris Paul, you just don't want any random bias. You know what I mean? Like, if they've been in the league for 30 years, this is their 17th time calling the finals, and they're just like, maybe over it, or I've never really liked the Pacers that much. I hate traveling to Oklahoma City or whatever. I just, let's get some old biases out, and I like the new blood. New eyes, fresh eyes,
complete younger eyes might be able to see some more.
Yeah, or see less. See that there wasn't any contact. Yeah. All right, so games start tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, so games start tomorrow, Thursday. Pacers at Thunder, 5:30. I'm assuming ESPN. Oh, ABC.
ABC on ESPN, yeah, same shit.
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Let's kind of break down. We've obviously kind of broke down the teams, our small analysis on the free throw merchant. The teams are pretty close together, like we've talked about. So let's get into a little bit of our predictions. Talk about who, why, and how many.
Who, why, and how many? Okay. So I went back and forth as far as like, do I push this to 7 and see who can win it there, or does somehow it not quite get to 7 and it ends in 6? But I eventually ended up at 6, and for some reason, I don't know what it is. I think the Thunder are slightly better overall when you go down the checklist of point guard, shooting guard, and who's better at each. It's a slight lean.
Defensive ratings, offensive ratings. Yeah.
There's a slight lean to Oklahoma City and a lot of those things. But I think at the end of the day, the way the Pacers don't quit down 20, down 25 and come back and win games, or down 10 with a minute 55 or whatever the hell. I mean, they don't die. And if Oklahoma City has been so used to having to just murder everybody and not have to play close games and really go for that kill shot at the end of the game and get that last shot, I for some reason just think like this could be Indiana's year. Like, Halliburton is, overrated, voted by the players, and maybe that was partially because he got to go to the Olympics and people didn't think he should have been on the team. I don't know, but he's using that as
played more.
Yeah, right? But he's using that as fuel, and as you mentioned, he does not turn the ball over at all. Like, he's a great passer. He gets 10 to 12 assists, maybe a turnover or 2.
And they're not like safe plays. It's not like, here, I don't want to turn the ball over. Let me just hand it to you. Or all oops. They're
No.
like dimes through people.
It's
And
a cross court. He's up in the air. He throws it
Mhm.
across. You know, he's very and I think part of it too is maybe some people don't like his game. Is it's not very aesthetically pleasing either. It's very herky
His
jerky.
jump shot's
Not
kind of ugly.
yeah, it's not smooth or pretty in any way. But you know
There's
what?
no Reggie
It's
Miller.
no, but it's fucking working because he's gotten to the finals just like Reggie did one time. So he's doing something right. I think them as an
Mhm.
organization, as a team, they just have a lot of guys like the Thunder do. Like I said, you got Benedict Mathurin, you've got TJ McConnell, who you mentioned, Miles
Mhm.
Turner, Pascal Siakam, like Naismith. Like it's just there's so many guys that can do different things. And I think I just have the Pacers somehow figuring out a way to win this in 6 at home. I think they can do it and win their first title. I don't know what it is, but that's just what's telling me. Pacers.
Well, I like that. So Pacers in 6.
Pacers in 6.
I'm rooting for that, to be honest with you. And I want to add a little bit to your point before I make mine. The closeness, right? The Pacers are never out of it. The Pacers never quit. The Pacers are always making sure that they can try to come back. The Thunder had what you said, 68 wins this year.
Mm-hmm.
54 times they won by 10 or more points.
Damn,
so they only won
nice.
14 single-digit games this year of the 68. Most times they were blowing out teams. Now, you could say, well, why is that going to stop now? That's pretty much what they're going to do to the Pacers. Or you could take that as in, well, that's regular season. You know what I mean? Playoffs is a lot different animal. And the way the Pacers are playing, honestly, they set their own pace. Pun intended.
Yep.
The Knicks are one of the slowest teams in the NBA. Not because they don't want to run, but they're just very methodical. They're a half-court team, which actually most of the time works well in the playoffs. Unless you're playing the Pacers, who will let you score, and then before you even know what's happening, you're inbounding the ball on the other side because they've already scored.
That's where I think Indy gets the biggest advantage is they score fast break points on scored buckets. They allow a bucket to score, and even when they have to inbound the ball, they somehow beat all of your guys down the other end and get a free layup. Like that should never happen. And the Thunder are a younger team too, so they run and gun, but not to that extent. But right. I think they'll be able to hang with the Indiana Pacers more so than most teams have to this point.
Definitely more than the Knicks.
Dude, they're too methodical.
And they only play 5 people, so
that is also a problem.
Hard to keep up with the track race when you're playing 48 minutes. So.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, that's a point where I can see that it's they've had the Pacers Pacers obviously being a 4 seed didn't even win as much games, but 2 probably had a lot more close games than the Thunder did because they were just tearing people up pretty much all season. So
yeah,
so little point towards you, but I don't see it happening. The Thunder are freaking nasty, man. They're tearing it up. I did not think I was telling you. Before the Western Conference Finals started, I saw a stat that said every team that's won the championship since 2000, so the past 5 straight, besides the Warriors, that team beat Jimmy Butler.
That's right.
Well, the T-Wolves beat Jimmy Butler in round 2 after taking care of the Lakers. So LeBron and Luka, Steph and Jimmy, and then having to go on to, obviously they didn't, but I was thinking Minnesota was going to win that series, and it wasn't even close. Truly wasn't close. 1 game was close, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And even then, Minnesota lost that game. So it wasn't a close series. I thought they were going to be able to do a little bit more. I really just think it's too much firepower. The one thing that I'm giving the Pacers is Rick Carlisle. That is, I think, it's kind of like an Eric Spoelstra. Like, you're like, who is this team? And then all of a sudden they win. You're like, oh, I mean, they have Eric Spoelstra. I guess that makes sense. They probably come up with a really good. So that's the one thing I'm going to give to them. But other than that, man, I'm hoping the Pacers win a game. Unfortunately,
ouch.
So yeah, I'm saying the Thunder take this one. I'm going Thunder in 5.
Wow, gentlemen, sweep in the finals. Yikes.
Yeah, they're stacked, man. They really are. And I mean, as much as I'm not rooting for it, I'm rooting for the Pacers. Not a fan of the slow free throw game, but that's where we're at.
In a weird way, if you think about it, though, regardless if the Thunder win or not, but especially if they win, it's going to change their outlook for the next 3 to 5 years because now you're going to have to start paying all these guys. And one, you're a small market, you're not going to be able to go into the second apron. But they also control the draft with so many picks over the next couple of years to replace those players that they're going to lose. But knowing Presti, he's not going to let them walk for nothing. So if you're an NBA team that's looking for some decent pieces that might have some championship, resume building things here, I would stay very close to the Thunder over the summer, over the next year and a half or 2 to see who they start shedding out or who they start giving up in trades because they just can't afford and don't have spots for all these guys that they've accumulated over the year with all these draft picks. So not only if they win, but especially if they win, I think we're going to see this team change over the next year or two. And then who knows if they'll even have a chance to get to another finals. This might be a one and done run because of the new, salary cap implications with the aprons and everything moving forward.
No, yeah, no, you're not wrong. I'm looking at the roster for next year. Most of them are still here, but Jalen Williams, to your point, expiring after next year. Chet he was drafted a couple years ago, so his contract's coming up. Yep, his is expiring next year. So Jalen and Chet will both be free agents at the same time.
Typically, the year before your contract's up, when you start talking extensions, which could happen this
which
summer.
Would be this season. Yep.
Yeah.
Hartenstein has a club option, so he's gonna. They paid a bunch of money to him because they're not paying into the small guys. So, to your point, some of their biggest pieces, Lou Dort, obviously.
Yeah,
where's he at?
He's going to be due here shortly.
Yep, he's got next year and the year after as a club option, but so he's only 1 year behind Chet and Jalen. So yeah, it's going to get tight, but to your point, with 30 plus draft picks, I feel like, and a bunch of young talent, it's not going to be impossible. So We'll see what Sam Presti does. He's a genius. I actually saw this weird thing before we wrap up. I saw this thing that basically Sam Presti was involved in. It was basically the Paul George trade. Is actually also what oddly set up the Pacers to get their stuff too, because it gave them
Sabonis,
Sabonis, who can trade for Halliburton and all this. So it's just Sam Presti basically set up this finals.
Actually, if you look back even further, when Presti was first hired by the Sonics before they moved, he traded Rashard Lewis in a sign and trade deal to Orlando because he was a free agent. He had the best year of his career in Seattle that year, and he traded him in a sign and trade for a draft pick or something. And if you look at the lineage of the tree and the draft pick that he got traded to this, for this, to that, it all worked its way itself down to Shea and how they ended up getting him for Paul George. It all trickled down to that effect to where we are now. So I'm with you. Presti's the best GM in all of sports. Maybe Andrew Friedman's right there with him, and for the Dodgers, unfortunately, those are probably the two best.
Okay, real quick. When you just throw fucking cash at people, that make you a good GM?
Hold on back. But what he was doing in Tampa with no money beforehand proves that with money, he's even better. Yes. But prior to being in LA, he had Tampa Bay go to the World Series twice.
I didn't know the Tampa thing. I'll give you that.
That's where he came
Tampa. But if we're giving people props for building the Dodgers, I'm going to give you a big FU. It's called here.
Your pushback is completely normal and okay, but Friedman was the one who got the Tampa Bay Rays the World Series the first time they lost. I think he was gone by 2020 because he won with the Dodgers, but he was the one who started that whole Moneyball, Joe Madden way of doing things down in Tampa. So he started it there. Now with money, he just makes it look that much better.
I guess so. Money does make it a lot easier, apparently, huh?
Yeah.
It's nice. Well, either way, I'm hoping it's going to be a good series. I'm hoping you're more right than I am. I'll take 6 good games more than a close series. I want close games, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, starts tomorrow. We got the Stanley Cup and NBA Finals kind of just basically every other day for the next couple weeks. So that'll be cool as long as the games or the series continue. So that'll be cool. Again, check out the Stanley Cup preview we did with our buddy Aaron. But other than that, let us know in the comments below who you've got win the finals this year.
Also hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at RVUFTB, and we got winning the Michael Jordan Finals MVP this year. I want to say Halliburton, but after he got screwed in the last round, he hey, I won it. Oh, I didn't, Pascal. I don't want to call him out again and have that happen.
So Pascal
it is. Hey, that would be his second title too.
You know what I'm gonna throw out there? I'm gonna say Miles Turner.
Ooh, wild card. Okay.
Because he's the best big in my opinion in the series. That's not shade at Chet. He's just really thin. Yeah, doesn't really have a post presence. It's not even shade at Hartenstein, but he's just only has a post presence. So basically, in my opinion, he is Chet and Hartenstein combined.
And in skill set, he plays a little defense. He can move. He can run.
Guard the rim. Yeah. So I'm gonna go wild card.
3 years ago, Miles Turner would have been perfect for the Lakers, but it's too late now.
Well, he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season.
I don't know if they're going to have money for that, though, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, if he wins a title, and maybe he just doesn't care anymore. Hey. Either way, let us know in the comments below what you think. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Thank you as always for seeing things from RV from the bench. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
This was a Sycamore Fourth Studios production.